Let's fast forward to Group A, where the champions reside. But we're going to get started in the earlier match, Rosengård 2, Benfica 2. The lineups and the formations were the story, I think, going into this one. Rosengård opts for a back three with a more attacking type formation, and it showed early. Rosengård played like this was their fucking Super Bowl.
Yep.
Their last home match of the Champions League campaign, and they played really, really well. Easily their best group stage showing. On the Benfica side, no Kika Nazareth, no Lucia Alves, no real cohesion to start this match. Very much a herky-jerky start for Benfica. Rosengård captain Olivia Skoo, I think around 22 minutes in, perfectly placed gem, top right corner, Lena Powell's, zero chance to save it. A simple but perfectly placed, perfectly weighted pass from Ria Uling, who notches the assist. I mean, I'm really starting to gain a appreciation for these assists that essentially make the goal.
Yep.
It's a little bit different than a basketball assist or even a hockey assist. You could put a ball somewhere and put your attacking player in a position where all they've got to do is just the most basic of touches. And this one was from pretty far out, but the pass was just genius, and it was simple, but I mean, it was genius. 1-0 at the half. Halftime stats were pretty wild. Possession 50-50. Pass accuracy 83% for Benfica, 83% for Rosengård. Benfica, 237 passes. Rosengård, 233 passes. 6 shots for Benfica, 5 for Rosengård. I mean, this was like as even as it gets. 53rd minute, Andrea Faria. She fires in a rocket that I think Rosengård keeper Angel Mukasa might have been able to handle a little bit better, but she's unable to get a hand on it. The strike was so good, though, that the ball bounces straight down after hitting the post. So it's just kind of knocking around a yard outside the goal. Jessica Silva, she flies in to bury it, 1-1. She had been kind of like poking around the goal. Like she was looking for opportunities big time. She was in the right place, right time. And now Benfica are level. 4 minutes later, though, misplayed back pass from Emma Janssen. Mimi Aladou swipes it. Still a ton to do after the interception. Aladou's got to swerve like around Mukasa. Then she's forced into making like a lunging strike, which she slots home anyway. I love those like kind of lunging strikes where all you can do is you're just like, I just have to like reach this but perfectly placed. Slots it in 2-1 Benfica. They're losing their minds. All they needed as a reminder was to equal the points that Frankfurt was able to put up against Barcelona.
Yep.
So Benfica's looking for the win. That clinches it. If they draw here, they're still in prime position, but they definitely wanted the win. Rosengård, though, not done. Kadawaki, their striker, who had a really, really great game. I think her best game as well. She ties it at 2. Again, really made possible by Ria Uling, who takes a pass from Amelia Larsson. Tremendous touch, tremendous control. Then like a full 180-degree turn and pass right into Kadawaki's path. Again, creating a goal for her striker. And Kadawaki's running free because the pass was just so absurd that why would anyone think that she's going to be able to get onto a ball? Uling's facing the wrong way, a total swivel, and just, I mean, a beautiful pass. Delicate, perfectly weighted, super easy put away. 2-2. Uling's second assist. She was an absolute boss in this match. Thoroughly entertaining match. Very interested to hear if anything stuck out to you in this one.
Uling looked like the best player on the pitch. I'm totally with you on that. Group A has kind of been your group to really kind of spearhead our coverage on it. I've tried to make myself familiar with the players, and obviously we watched the games, bro, all that good stuff. But it felt like her best performance. And she's a general out there. And you're right about like the combination, like the crosshairs of this pass is perfectly timed, but we never in American sports use the perfectly weighted. Like we'll say like, oh, he hit him in stride or like whatever, but the weight of her passes, just knowing like I'm going to strike this with my right foot and it's going to die right around there. And that's where I need the ball to really slow down for my striker to get in the path of it. Just genius level stuff. The shot that rips off the crossbar, they had Angel Mukasa beat, but it's an interesting strategy because Mukasa's been another keeper who's had a lot of good showings in this tournament. Turns out a helpful way to beat her is to use the crossbar as your friend to get the ball to Jessica Silva. So I think you're right. Silva was out there. She was playing to score a goal from the first minute. Like she was walking out of the tunnel like, yeah, I'm scoring today. Like this is happening. And she made it known. So I thought it was a hell of a match. You're right about Kadawaki. 2-2. It felt fair enough. But I think Rosengård, if they would have won that match, I think it would have been deserved. But if you're Benfica, that's great to scratch out a draw there.
I'm watching it. I'm also, Benfica's in one of the teams of my heart as well.
Yep.
Bummed to see no Kika Nazareth. I mentioned no Alves and Nicole Reisla on the bench. So
yeah,
it was like kind of her time to shine a little bit. Ali Du obviously as well. So those are their two kind of like money players up top. I was a little bit bummed when they gave up the second, so I'm like, yeah, Benfica's still probably going through. And then I zoom out and I'm like, this team, got waxed last year in the
Yeah.
group stage. Like it was over before it started. And I think we kind of knew going in, okay, it's going to be them or Frankfurt for that second spot. So to go to Rosengård, kind of battle the weather, battle a team that's pretty well rested and scratch a draw out of that when you really need something, you need a result. Like a lot of times that could create some pressure. I think it was Gaspar who got interviewed. You mentioned it earlier. Shout out to the Zone for, sort of putting some more content out in front of us. But she got interviewed and she was like, I think we came out a little nervous. And I think, the nerves start to kind of go away. And hopefully in the second half, we just need to come out, not be nervous, and things will be all right. And that's exactly kind of like what they did. It's a very prescient take from her on that. But credit to Benfica. They were down 1-0 on the road, tough environment, and they got out of there 2-2 with a point, and they advance, based on the result that we're going to hit on coming up next year.
Yeah, I mean, and we've talked about it. We've talked about it since the Women's World Cup. Like Portugal is kind of like an ascending women's footballing culture. They have I think it goes without saying, they have an incredible footballing infrastructure from the men's game over there. And so for them to kind of walk in and be like, okay, we know it's going to be either them or Eintracht Frankfurt, and Germany is a couple steps ahead of them in women's footballing culture. To see them really gut this out, you always talk about with them, that's a testament to toughness, the combination of toughness and intelligence for them to kind of to gut this out the way they did.
It's a mental toughness too.
Absolutely.
Because physically they don't play the toughest kind of game. They play kind of like a wide open, little bit of a mad scramble type of game. Talk about a bad matchup. If they do meet Braun at some point down the road, that's going to be the line up 11 ice baths by the end of that one. But they've got like a very fun kind of wide open style that I really appreciate, really enjoy watching. Really hoping that when we do get to the knockout stage, they've got all their big guns. It feels like we're watching this team grow up a little bit, which is a good time.
For sure.